One of the realities of football in the National Football League during training camp and in preseason games, there is always the risk of injury. You never want it to impact your significant players, certainly not a rookie quarterback about to begin his NFL career. That was the case yesterday with the Vikings. J.J. McCarthy has a torn meniscus that he suffered at some point in the preseason debut against the Las Vegas Raiders on Saturday afternoon. The timetable is a little bit precarious as well, as J.J. McCarthy will undergo surgery this week, and while on the operating table, the surgeons will determine if it needs to be a full repair, which would sideline J.J. McCarthy for the entirety of this rookie season, probably prolonging his debut until 2025, or if it is just a simple trimming of the torn meniscus, which would allow J.J. McCarthy, it appears, to return at some point in 2024.
Yeah, and look, it's not do or die, as we said, for the Minnesota Vikings in 2024. But you would like to gauge this season. It's not really in wins and losses. Typically, when you have a rookie quarterback, as we state so many times, at the end of the year, you realize, I think we got our franchise quarterback, played well down the stretch, picked up a couple wins. Yes, we didn't make the playoffs, but the bigger picture is we got our guy. You're not going to have that now. It sort of feels like the Indianapolis Colts, Ben, right? You watched last year with how talented Anthony Richardson is. He's starting this year, but he didn't get very many games last year, so the jury is still out whether or not you think he can be your franchise guy. You're hoping he looks the part and certainly can play that part, but you get that same vibes because bringing Sam Darnold from day number one never made sense to me. Not in the fact that you didn't think he was going to start. You have free agency in the draft. I understand how it works out. But once McCarthy gets to camp and you draft him high in the first round, he's your franchise guy. And if he's in somewhat the same ballpark as Sam Darnold, you would like to see him start week number one. Now, there are different ways to bring along young quarterbacks. We've seen it so many times. And some teams don't have the luxury of having a very good backup quarterback that's been around the block. And some people might even say, Donnie, what are you talking about Sam Darnold? He's a capable guy in a good offense with a very good offensive coordinator. He should be fine week number one. But it's just a shame because you look forward to those young franchise guys getting their feet wet. Even if it's like, okay, you're not going to start the season. We might bring you into a package during the game just to get you ready because weeks 5, 6, and 7, maybe that's the landing target for the young guy. But he played so well in that preseason game. We were actually thinking game number 2 in the preseason might be another showcase for J.J. McCarthy. It's just a shame the way it went down. Hopefully it's not the long-term one. It's the short-term one because even as you say that, he might not start the week 8, 9, or 10 at this point if it is the short-term injury, but at least he's taking reps in practice. He's around the team. He's engaged. He's working out. If you go onto the IR, what people don't know about the NFL sometimes, Ben, you can't practice with the team. So, hey, throw him in the IR by week 4, be practicing. He's not allowed to practice at that point. You hope it's not the long-term scenario for the maturation process of the young quarterback.
And I think that's the important part as well. A winner at Michigan, a 27-1 win-loss record as a quarterback, the best we have seen with at least 25 starts in FBS college football in the last half century. But there was a thought that based on the college production, it was a projection to draft him in the top 10. Could he excel on this next level under Kevin O'Connell, who, after the offseason program, the head coach of the Vikings said that Sam Darnold had earned the right to be the starting quarterback as they returned for training camp. In the initial depth chart released by Minnesota last week, ahead of the preseason opener against the Las Vegas Raiders, Sam Darnold was listed as quarterback number 1. So J.J. McCarthy was in that quarterback competition, hoping to earn the starting job to begin his rookie year. You would think DRS, with the performance on Saturday afternoon against Las Vegas, the tide was maybe starting to turn in Minneapolis. And again, that's part of this as well. A promising debut. J.J. McCarthy played 6 offensive possessions for Minnesota on Saturday against the Raiders. He threw a pick on his opening drive. He has learned Harbaugh-isms from his college head coach. Said after the game, what was your thought process, JJ, after throwing the opening INT? His response, what a great opportunity. Pretty much allowing him an opportunity to bounce back and show his resolve, and he did from that point on. And in the game overall, 11-17 for 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception in his preseason debut. Justin Jefferson was hyped on the sideline watching his rookie quarterback perform in a stellar way in his preseason debut. But it would seem, as of right now for Minnesota, it is Sam Darnold's show. signed this offseason, 1 year, $10 million deal, 6 years in the National Football League, first 3, of course, with the New York Jets after being taken 3rd overall by Gang Green. Then 2 years in Carolina, last year as the backup in San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan, played in 10 games for San Fran, started week 18 as they rested their starters. Now he's going to be the guy, at least at the very start of 2024, for the Vikings. And just one final point for me, DRS, as we tie everything into the odds. When you have a quarterback injury, oftentimes, even if it's a guy that could be the starter for your franchise, it's going to move the odds. But just to show you the odds outlook for Minnesota, the win total was 7.5 for 2024. The under had the juice. It's still 7.5. The under has the juice at -168. A couple of more cents on the under, perhaps, but not much dramatic movement after the news of the J.J. McCarthy torn meniscus.
And even take a look at week number 1 at the FanDuel Sportsbook, Ben. This line originally opened up as a -1 point favorite, +104 for Minnesota. It now sits today a -1.5 point favorite at a -105 price, because we're not looking at J.J. McCarthy week number 1 necessarily as an upgrade over Sam Darnold. And also from a betting perspective here, I think this is actually a very good thing if you're looking at it as an opportunity to bet the Minnesota Vikings. No longer do you have the quarterback that's going to be fighting time in camp, 50-50. Nobody knows who's starting. You know who's going to be the guaranteed starter in week number 1, barring injury to himself? It's Sam Darnold. Every application of that playbook now will be specificities, nice word right there, will be used for Sam Darnold, as opposed to maybe making up some of that game plan for J.J. McCarthy. So for me, my warped mind, I go like this. Ooh, over 1.5 touchdown passes week number 1 for Darnold? Sign me up, baby. I think he's going to have a good day against the Giants.
I mean, he's back in MetLife in his former hallowed home, where at times it seemed a little bit haunted for one Sammy D, but he is familiar at least with the landscape. Again, the Vikings still remain a favorite in that football game against the New York Giants. It might be more condemning for the G-men than anything happening for Minnesota after the news of the J.J. McCarthy injury. Unlike some of the other fellow rookie quarterbacks that were taken in 2024, McCarthy did not have a season-long passing yards prop. More around National Football League training camp next. Will he play in San Francisco? Won't he play by the Bay? Perhaps might he play at another NFL organization in 2024? Those are the questions that need to be asked as it pertains to San Francisco's wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. There has been a lot of offseason drama between Aiyuk and the 49ers front office. He wants a new deal at a time San Francisco was unwilling to give him a new deal. Brandon Ayuk was unhappy. He officially requested a formal trade from San Francisco. The Niners, to start off training camp, said, "We are not trading you." And then about a week ago, they said, "You know what? If somebody presents an enticing enough trade package, maybe we will listen." Here is the update as of yesterday on Brandon Ayuk. This from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network. The Steelers and 49ers have a deal on a potential trade, and Pitt is in a good place on an Ayuk contract, which means they would be able to give him the contract extension that he so desires. If San Francisco gives the final sign-off, it's a done deal. But also, San Francisco has an offer out to Brandon Ayuk on a reworked long-term contract for him to stay in San Fran. Ayuk has not signed the dotted line as of this moment. DRS, what's going on with Ayuk in San Francisco?
The charade is awesome, and we're seeing it in other cities as well, where like you avoid not getting fined by just showing up in a T-shirt and shorts and not participating in anything. So eventually, I guess you can show up and say, you know what, 49ers practice, I'll come out for 5 to 10 minutes, I'll go back inside, hang out, play some video games, be on my phone, eat some lunch, check into the meeting, say hello, and then go home so I don't get fined here. That's interesting to say the least. But the other part of it is you have to understand the way the NFL works now. They've been going over contract negotiations probably for the last year in anticipation of Ayuk getting an extension, and it's not working out for them between them. So, okay, I want to get a deal done. I want to seek a trade. They go, okay, seek one out here. But everybody has to know that We have been talking about this Aiyuk contract situation, not just with the 49ers, let's just say around the NFL heading into training camp for weeks now, where other teams like, you know what, we could use a solid young wide receiver and make him our number one and pay him accordingly because that's what he's looking forward to. So it was the New England Patriots, it was the Cleveland Browns, and it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. All have come to terms with, hey, San Francisco, we'll pay you this amount, and also we have contracts in place that Aiyuk is going to pay more. We're going to pay him more than what you will. So Aiyuk and his agent, always wanting more money, sit back and go, okay, we got a bidding war between three teams. Let's just drag this out. For what reason? That bidding war should have taken 1 hour by saying, what are your best and final offers? The guy that makes the best offer will be on a plane today and sign that dotted line, and he'll be in the new organization, whether, again, it's the Patriots, the Steelers, or the Browns. It's gotten to the point now, if you are the Steelers, you're looking like you're going to probably wind up with a little bit of egg on your face. Because, number one, you're telling your wide receiver room in Pittsburgh, you're not good enough here. We really need this Aiyuk guy, and we're hanging on for dear life, hoping we get him. But also at the same time going like, we offered him more money and the chance to come here and be that number one right away. And why is it taking 36, 48 hours, 3 or 4 days to decide on this? What are you deciding? So all they're doing is taking that contract right here and going, you know what? San Francisco, if you match this, I'm coming back here. And still, the Steelers are hanging on because what we already saw, Ben, by the way, the New England Patriots, they saw the charade, like, we're out. Like, the Patriots are probably offering more money than any one of these teams because they just need talent. And like, hold on now. With this deal that we have in place, you haven't said yes in over a week. Yeah, we're out of here at this point. Same way when you get like, I'm pulling my name out of the coaching race for another institution, knowing that he's actually never coming there, neither that coach as well. I hate the charade in San Francisco, but you can start to see it play out now. He's going to be a 49er.
Yeah, I would say that Brandon Ayuk remains in San Francisco. What the actual contract looked like, what the figures are for Ayuk, that remains to be seen. Brandon Ayuk, a first-round selection in 2020. The same draft class as one Justin Jefferson, one CeeDee Lamb in that opening round as well. He's not going to make J-Jet money. Could he be one of the 4 wide receivers at this current point that make more than $30 million per year? There are the 5 highest paid wide receivers. That includes Jalen Waddle, who got the offseason extension earlier this offseason, who makes more than $28 million per year. We don't know what the contract looks like at this moment. What we do know, though, is that Brandon Ayuk was San Francisco's best pure wide receiver last year. More than 1,300 receiving yards, his career high. He had more than 1,000 receiving yards the year prior in 2021. His only 100-yard game in 2022, came with Brock Purdy as the quarterback. He was the top target last year for the 49ers, 105 targets. George Kittle, second most with 90. There's a lot of offensive pieces that we know in San Francisco that require a lot of talent. But Brandon Ayuk is actually the number 1 wide receiver, as strange as that might be to say. More NFL news next. More NFL news and notes from around training camp. It's that time of year, and we enjoy bringing you all the information you need to have. This is a good one. This is a very good one. Very exciting stuff. Yeah. Couple of great quote tweets of this tweet this quote yesterday. Not sure if you've ever seen the Peaky Blinders, but there's a scene where Tommy Shelby, that's played by Cillian Murphy, is walking around his house, and he tells all of his brothers, the guys that are a part of the Blinders, to not do anything, to not be in any fights. Oh, it's good stuff. And what we're referring to is the Patriots' new head coach, Gerard Mayo, as the Patriots get ready for some joint practices this week ahead of their preseason week number 2 contest tomorrow night in Foxborough against the Philadelphia Eagles. This was Gerard Mayo yesterday meeting with the media in the message that he gave to his New England team about keeping practice civil. No fights.
Look, you don't fight in a real game. When you fight in a real game, you get fined, you get kicked out. It's the same thing here. And look, my message to the players, if you get in a fight out here, if you're a starter, you're going to play the whole preseason game. If you're not a starter, you won't play at all. And so that's kind of my mindset with that.
All right, a little bit of discipline, a little bit of what Gerard Mayo is bringing to this New England team. There will be consequences for your actions, even if it's not a fine or a penalty like it might be during a real game. DRS, what do you make of Gerard Mayo's potential response to any joint practice fights?
And I'm trying to log into the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, make my way around to the Patriots, and fire my entire bank account on the under for the New England Patriots. I want to like Gerard Mayo. He seems like a nice guy. You have got to, first of all, the team is probably the least talented team in the NFL. But are we being honest when we're saying if we get into a scrap that if I am a starter, let's just say I'm the Matthew Judon, let's just say is out there throwing punches. Hey, Matt, you're going to play that whole week number 2. Yeah, exactly. And have, let's just say, a left tackle that's not going to make the team continuously cut you throughout the entire game and not really understanding how, I lost my balance and fell on my knee. And also, players that are trying to make this team, get a little scrappy in practice. Hey, by the way, kid, I know you're a 4th-round pick thinking you can make this team. You're just not going to play in the preseason. I have no idea where this even comes from. There's rules in place by the collective bargaining agreement. Yes, if you fight in practice, I'm throwing you out of that practice, and I'm going to fine you $15,000, and away you go. You can come back tomorrow at that point. Like, it sounds like, and I know people that have not played the sport before, that makes sense. That's going to stop fighting. How asinine it actually sounds where if you are throwing punches as a starter, your punishment is to play the entire game, which means you're probably going to get injured. And if you do get injured, that means to the detriment of the team. It sounds like a great soundbite here, but when you think about it, it's one of the more asinine policies you can actually have as a head coach. It makes no sense, and it's actually a detriment to your team. Like, hey, if I throw punches, I have to play Friday night. Stop the madness. So the jokes were floating around Twitter and social media going man, if I'm a backup quarterback, I am launching bombs at everybody so no other quarterback can play. And you know what I'm going to do the next week? I'm going to do the same thing. So I can be a backup, a 4th-string quarterback and play the entire game because that stupid rule. Come on, Gerard Mayo, knock it off.
Also, when you look at the quarterback room, New England played all 4 of their quarterbacks in their preseason opener against Carolina. Jacoby Brissett right now is in line to be the week 1 starter for New England. So if Drake May, the young rookie, were to go out there and get into a fight, would he not play? Or would he play the whole game because of the fact that he is in line potentially to compete for that starting spot? I love the idea that Jabril Peppers, who just signed a contract extension with New England, that he might throw a punch and he's like, all right, get out there. We just paid you $20 million a year. Go play the entire game against the Eagles. Speaking of Matthew Judon, by the way, he is not happy, much like Hassan Reddick, the edge rusher for New England, with his contract status. He is out there legitimately fighting people trying to get paid or dealt to another team. Gerard Mayo's first year in Foxborough seems to be off to a tremendous start. And Donnie, you said you wanted to go to the FanDuel Sportsbook, bet the house on the under of the Patriots win total of 4.5. It is the lowest win total in the National Football League. The under has plus money, maybe some even alternate win totals, or just this. The Patriots are the favorites, or at least have the shortest price, however you want to categorize it, to have the worst regular season record around the National Football League at a 3-1 number.
Yeah, and look at the Patriots, too, at that 3-1, which is actually hilarious because you had 25 years of the most dominant football stretch that you could possibly have for any franchise that we might ever see, the Bill Belichick and the Tom Brady era, to now fall so far behind where you're by far the least talented team in the NFL, and the expectations are so low at this point that you sort of get a chuckle out of it. And also, if you are the Patriots, like, why don't you go down and say, you know what, we're going to take the team for a trip because Bill Belichick used to love the military. Let's go to Army and Navy. And they said, well, Coach, why are we going there? Because this is the offense we're going to run because we just can't compete and have a drop back pass with literally no wide receivers, average running backs, and an average quarterback here. If they went wing T, I bet you their number would actually go higher so they won't have to be the worst team in the NFL and at least be able to compete. Run the clock all game long, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Maybe that's the way the Patriots can compete in 2024 here, Ben.
Yeah, we shall see exactly what they do this season. We'll see who the starting quarterback is going to be, but I would not be overly optimistic on the Pats. Somehow, some way, one of my favorite betting quirks entering 2024 here in the preseason around the NFL, the Pats have the lowest win total, 4.5. The over does have the juice at minus 150. The Patriots have the longest price of any team to win any of the 8 divisions around the NFL. They play in the highly competitive AFC East and still somehow, some way have a shorter Super Bowl price than that of the Carolina Panthers at 300 to 1. Let's go elsewhere around the National Football League in some injury updates. Donnie, it's always hard to ascertain when some player gets injured during preseason or training camp, what exactly the severity of that injury is, if there's a timeline for return, if he's going to practice, or if he is not going to play. That is the story in New York for the Giants rookie wideout, Malik Neighbors. Said he's feeling good despite dealing with an ankle injury. When asked if there was any doubt he would be ready for week number 1, he replied simply, quote, "No doubt," end quote. So he should be out there for that week 1 opener again as the Giants get ready to host the Minnesota Vikings in MetLife.
Yeah, he should be fine. But again, the secrecy of coaches in preseason never ceases to amaze me. When imagine if you shared an update that said, yes, I talked to the trainer. We're getting tests done a little bit later today. I'll have an answer for you tomorrow. And they always just try to talk right over your head. I really don't know about it. We'll check in and we'll see how long it takes.
Yeah.
Then they ask the press, ask them for an update the next day. You haven't checked in. Knowing full well the minute that guy left there, he was probably at the best hospital place / in the world, getting MRIs with 15 team doctors around him with an instant update for the head coach within minutes. He's like, hey, I'll get around to checking on my best player here. Neighbors will be fine. I expect him to have a solid season, but then again, it's Daniel Jones and it's the Giants, so let's temper those expectations.
Malik Neighbors, a regular season-long receiving yards prop of 875 and a half. Second most for the rookie wideouts, only behind Marvin Harrison Jr., whose number for Arizona is 1,050. And Malik Neighbors, the 6th overall draft pick by New York in 2024 out of LSU. $10 billion for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. The Cowboys now valued at $10.32 billion, the most valuable sports franchise in the world, and the first to ever crack $10 billion. So the immediate response should not be a congratulatory salute to one Jerry Jones. It should be, why in the world haven't you paid Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb?
That's the best part about it here. If you're Jerry Jones, you probably want to get a hold of the editor that put that information out and probably paid him a little bit of money or took him out to a steak dinner and said, our valuation actually went down this year. Because I'm telling you right now, when you're trying to get paid and you're in a negotiation where the Dallas Cowboys are crying wolf somehow, and it comes out that they are the most valuable franchise in the history of sports on this planet, and to see CeeDee Lamb sit back there, it's like, hey, we're not under any obligations to sign you, any urgency at all, buddy. Stay at home, we'll find him. This has to burn those guys up when they see that.
But Jerry can say it to a camera and with a microphone in front of his face, CD,
went to high school and
you're
college.
missed. Not missed that much because you're not paying him at this moment.